Guys, Deludi Gula, N'Golo Kante of this YouTube thing, Mr. Sauce on Spill. Mesut Ozil, now he polarized his opinion. I think he's the best thing since sliced bread. I mean, of course, I acknowledge all his faults, but I think he's really good. Equally, some people think he's crap and things like that. I'm not teaching you or trying to tell you what to think. I'm just, like I always tell you guys, I'm just telling you to think. Who am I to take your opinions away? We're all football fans, whether you played football or not. I'm just simply going to talk my thing, to be honest with you. So now, Mesut Ozil, we know he gets a hard time. When we win, he's amazing. When we don't, he's not tracking back. We're seeing him have beef with the legends. Since he's been here, he's polarized opinion. Me personally, I have a lot of sympathy for him. Yes, I believe he can pull his finger out a lot of times. But how do I put this? For Germany to Madrid, yes, he was central to their plans, but largely he was an accessory. He was an accessory. We've got him. He was a luxury. He was an accessory. He's a main thing here. He was like, how do I put this? For those of you who know about Yardman food and things like that, if you have a patty, he is cocoa bread. You can eat the patty without the cocoa bread, but that's the luxury. That assists. That helps to retain the flavour. Do you get it? For me, you should really judge Ozil on his ball retention and chances created, because that's what he is. He's always been that pure 10. He's always been around that. The problem is, at Arsenal, like I just said, at Germany and Real Madrid, he was an accessory. For us, we've now taken him and made him the main player. He's never been that player that, yes, he stands up to be counted, but he's never been that player. So when things are going wrong, pull people's shirts and galvanize them and tell them we need to play better. Even though you see him getting angry at people, he's never been the Gerrards or the Vieiras and things like that. So I really don't get why we expect him to do that. Added to that, yes, them two teams are dramatically better than us, but he was just another lieutenant amongst an army of people. Real Madrid, there was Ronaldo there was Di Maria there was Kaká on paper there, I believe. There was all sorts of players. Germany, yes, they rely on Ozil and he does the needle or the haystack stuff, but they've got Toni Kroos, Emre Can to do the box-to-box stuff, Khedira, numerous midfielders, so that Ozil is not relied upon. He's relied on the sense that when you have a system and you've got a framework, he is the freedom within the framework. He is that person that might go and get you them goals. He is that person that might pick them eye of the needles. So yeah, that's what he is. You have 10 other workers and then it's Ozil. You don't always have to play Ozil. You don't always have to rely on Ozil. You don't have to always force Ozil into the plans. I've said this in videos. Yes, at Arsenal's a bit different because regardless if he doesn't play, our playmaking and our building and our chances created, you can see it. Ozil, he polarizes his opinion. I think about this three ways. Firstly, he's been a success. That's without a doubt, and I'll allude to that later. He's been a success. On the other hand, I do think he plays within himself to a degree. And on the other hand, it is unfair on the lad because, I mean, 2014, he's created the most chances since 2013-14. 40 chances created. He's been doing his thing. I think he's got 42 assists in that time period, more than any other players. He's constantly creating chances. He's constantly one of the highest and consistent players for us when it comes to output, goals and assists. So that's what I mean by, look at last year. How many goals did he get? 12 or something like that. And however many assists. We thought he had a bad season, which he kind of did. But that just shows someone that we need to temper our expectations. That shows how good the player is. That shows he's constantly creating for the team. That shows that we're relying on a player too much, in my opinion. And that also shows that to a degree, yes, he is playing within himself and can go up another level. I do believe that Ozil is playing within himself to a degree. He's 8 years of age. He knows how much, along with Alexis, he knows how much he means to the club. So naturally, you're going to do that. But 2013-14, 40 appearances, 7 goals, 14 assists. 14-15, remember the Napoli goal as well that season. 14-15, 32 appearances, 9 goals, I believe, 9 assists. I don't know why I wrote down. 5 goals, 9 assists. I'm pretty sure that's right. That's the year he had the knee problems and he came back. He came back looking bigger and hencher and things like that. 15-16, 45 appearances, 8 goals, 20 assists. That season he finished 1 just behind Henry. 16-17 last year wasn't his best of years, but in all comps, 12 goals, 14 assists. That shows you he's up there for the outputs. We know he's a great player. For me, you just bring these players on. I mean, not on in the sense you bring them off the bench, but you don't rely on these players. I've alluded to it earlier. He'll dig you out of games. He'll create chances. He'll retain the ball. He'll barely misplace a pass. But is he going to pull shirts? Is he going to dig his teammates out? Is he going to get us over the line 9 times out of 10? He's got the ability to do it, but he's not one of these guys. So for me, he would just be in and amongst my squad of players. The problem is at Arsenal, we take players like this and expect them to be lodged in their home and things to happen. Let's take this. I'm sure you've all played for some of you that play football, you've all played for a good first team, right? Or a good Sunday League side with quality players in all positions. How many of you have left that, joined the crapper team where you're the hub, everything has to go through you? That's exactly Ozil. Like I said, he's the cocoa bread to the patty. He's not the guy you should be relying on and that. And to highlight how good this guy has actually been, and we need to look at both sides of the argument, I've got it written down again, guys. 166 appearances for Arsenal, 32 goals, 57 assists, contributing 89 goals then in 166 for a pure 10, someone that doesn't score. That is a decent record. Madrid, he got, I think he assisted in, and he had a hand in around 108 goals. So that shows you how mad he is. He's improved his goal scoring here. He covers more ground in England. The stats and your eyes will show you this. Like I said, he's never been the player to pull people out. If you had a squad if you had an army, he wouldn't be one of the. He would just be part of the patron or the army. He wouldn't be the lieutenant and things like that. He'd be a trusted member of the army, but he's not going to be the general. This is what people fail to understand. It's not a criticism of Ozil. For me, again, he can pull it out, but on the other hand, this shows how good of a footballer he is, and this shows how much we're selling himself short. Because when you sign these players, again, to go back to when he came, we should have had a system that works. He has not for years. He had rubbed stuff to work around. For me, if you're going to sign Ozil, you need two big bad boy midfielders that are going to cover ground, that are going to rough people up, ultimately can pass the ball forward so Ozil can stay in positions where he can actually trouble a side. You saw Ramsey drop the other day when he played for the 10, so you can see it's not just Ozil, it's stress. He covers the ground a lot. I think he creates. He's up there for sprints as well. He's not quite up there for sprints over 90 minutes, but he's up there. He's up there for distance covers. He's up there for defensive know-how. So you've got to allow the guy. Even at Stoke and Liverpool when we lost and he was poor like everyone else, he created the most chances. Isn't that his job? Man are not scoring. What do you want a man to do? I do believe we stroke his and Alexis's egos too much, purely because we know when you leave them big boy clubs and you come to Arsenal, we haven't seen players like that since Thierry Henry. So we do overdo it, and we've allowed them to have this circus thing with the contracts, and that's really not on. It's not even that. Even back to the Madrid thing, when I said they had Ronaldo and things like that, Alexis, Pedro was there, Neymar was there, Messi was there, all of these guys were there. These are just additions. You need more. One or two is not going to make the difference. You need 5 or 6. Like I've said with these sides, obviously we're not there. Ozil is the freedom within the framework. You judge him on efficiency, retention, and chances created for me, or you just don't understand football. It's like judging David Silva on how much goals he's going to score, Iniesta on how many goals he's going to score, because it's nonsense. Like I said, Ozil's playing within himself, and another manager, if he was under Jose again, or if he was under Pep, he would get away with these things. And I do like to a degree how he's protected by Wenger, but it's nonsense. Even in big games, we know we're poor against in big games in the top 6 of recent years. But I can bring that up for you. Top 6, like I said, we've been poor, so all the stats are going to look crap. But he's been up there. He's got 5 goals, 8 assists in 31 or something like that. That's more than all of our other players are probably, apart from Alexis turning up and standing up to be counted. You can blame him because it could be better, but you can't blame him for how we've set up 9 times out of 10 in big games. Look at City away. Ozil was one of the best players on that pitch in that first half, and then we all capitulated. Look at when he went. Look at the Chelseas. Look at the Chelseas. He scored twice against Chelsea. He scored twice against Chelsea. I'm sure. Forgive me if I'm wrong, but he's definitely scored once. He turned up in the FA Cup final against Chelsea. He's turned up against United twice. He's turned up against Liverpool. He's turned up against City. He's turned up against Bayern Munich. Like I said, This ain't no Ozil swan song, no Ozil tribute, because he can still pull out his fingers and he can still perform in other games. But I'm a man who loves Arsenal. I'm a man who plays it fair. If you're doing things I like, I will praise you. You're doing things I don't like, I will get on to you. And I believe we're doing this man a hella disservice talking to him like this. And you see in the legend style, I'm never going to get into it with the legend nonsense, man. That's just another, that's a next thing for me. But like I said, only Monreal overran this guy last year, Only Monreal ran more than him last year. So to a degree, he can perform more. To a degree, we should do this, because all these stats I've mentioned have shown how good the footballer is when he's at it, has shown how much he can do. But the stats also show he's constantly up there for output, goals and assists, so we shouldn't be that harsh on him. There's many ways to look at it. Like I said, I'm pretty sure I'm confusing you guys. I believe he can pull his finger out, but I believe people need to use context and move it away from emotion and look how good the player is. Has he been a success in the Premier League? Of course he has. He's won 3 FA Cups in his time at Arsenal. He's created chances. He's getting assists. He's been a success. What hasn't been a success is his period at Arsenal when it comes to winning major stuff, because collectively, if you sign Ozil, for me, he needs to go into a system that works, and you need to sign other players to take it to the next level. For years, we know we didn't have the striker for him. We still haven't got the midfield. So how could it be? It's the same way Alexis. If someone says has Alexis been a success or a failure? Playing wise, he's been a success. If he was to ask him, it's probably a failure because he wants to win the big boy trophies and the FA Cups isn't going to cut that. Do you get it? It's the same way Suarez. Suarez did a madness in England. Did he win anything major? No. So you get it. Ozil's been a success. He needs to pull his finger out. This season we'll see. He's had 5 appearances and he hasn't scored yet. He's having some injuries and things like that. But like I tell you guys, I'm going to play it fair. I'm going to praise ballers for things they do well, and I'm going to hold them to account. So I don't want to see none of you guys in the comments like, oh, I've played it both sides. This is honestly what I feel about Mesut Ozil. And I've already said it, like, he gets a lot of criticism and a lot of it's deserved, but a lot of it you need to realise how good the footballer actually is when you look at the numbers, when you look at the pitch. I believe some people actually need to use their eyes. Some people, Ozil deserves a lot of criticism. I've spoken with a lot of people that criticise Ozil, and they're the real guys, some of you in my comments. But some of us, we need to use our brains and apply logic. What I'm not going to blame Ozil for is the defensive stuff, because he does his defensive job, but he's not a DM. He's not someone like this. I'm not going to blame him for other stuff. I'm going to the same way I'm going to blame Alexis if he doesn't put his chances away, but I'm not going to blame him for clearing chances off the line. 5 or 6. You sign these players, you need to sign the players to enable them to thrive. If you sign the DMs and the guys that break players down, you sign that centre half, you put an emphasis on defending, on holding shape and things like that. These players are allowed to thrive and do their things. If I was Ozil, I'd be stressed because he's constantly producing assists in games and creating chances in games, and it's being held to no avail. And it's always him who has to be held accountable. And it seems like there's nothing he can do because we always sell ourselves short in the transfer market with no centre mid, with no centre half as well. But yeah, guys, I think I'm waffling. I think I see it's 11 minutes long. I'm probably boring you guys and being pretty annoying now. Let me sign out. Get in the comments. I know I sound like I've been preaching, but get in the comments, subscribe, follow me on my socials. Get in the comments if you want me to do any other vids. I'm out, guys. Thank you.